So you're thinking about coming to see Scotland? This is what you're coming to see.
So we are here staying in Fort Augustus, and what you see behind us here are locks that allow long boats and other boats to move between Loch Oich, which is up the way here, down to Loch Ness.
Most incredible thing about this, constructed in 1804, it was redone in the late 1800s sometime, I believe, but still just incredible.
It really is. And unfortunately, while we're here, since it's winter time, the boats aren't really moving through here like they would during the warmer months. So hopefully we'll get to come visit sometime during warm weather so we can see the process happen in person.
Well, let's go take a look.
We stayed 3 nights in Fort Augustus, a small, sleepy village located at the southern end of Loch Ness. This served as a central hub to many of the areas we wanted to visit around the Highlands. We stayed at Loch Chambers Caledonian Canal Centre. Our room had a balcony with a great view, looking down the canal to Loch Ness. Not a bad way to wake up each day. The staff were amazing here as well. We had a nice chat with one of them before we left one morning. While we were out that day, she noticed we had a bottle of wine in our room. We came back that evening and she had 2 wine glasses waiting for us. The hospitality we experienced in this country was second to none. We will leave a link for the hotel in the description below.
It was then time to make the hour-long drive west to Eilean Donan Castle. When we arrived there, the weather was sunny, although bitterly cold. We were, however, determined to see this castle, located in the confluence of 3 sea lochs, Loch Duich, Loch Long, and Loch Alsh. You may recognize it from the films Highlander and The World Is Not Enough as the Scottish headquarters of MI6.
We were greeted by an extremely friendly Scottish lady at the admissions window who engaged in a conversation with me, which ended with her trying to convince us to move to Scotland and for me to apply to work at the castle. At all but 2 of the castles we visited on our tour, we were able to use the Explorer Pass we purchased before leaving the US for £35, approximately 40 USD. Considering admission to Edinburgh Castle alone was £20 and up, we felt like that was a bargain since we were able to use it at 5 castles. Eilean Donan did not accept the pass as it is a privately owned castle, but it was well worth the £11 to visit, although photography and video is not allowed inside.
After leaving Eilean Donan Castle, we made our way over the bridge to the Isle of Skye. By the time we got to the island, it was around 1 p.m. We knew we were running short on time, but we're going to make the most of the daylight we had, so made a beeline for the fairy pools. The name comes from an old local myth that claims that a chief of the MacLeod clan married a fairy princess. The pools are set against the backdrop of the snow-covered peak of Bruach na Frith. We wanted to make the hike to the pools, but knew the clock would not allow it. Instead, we ended up putting the drone up for a quick flight and promised ourselves we would come back here soon and make the walk to the pools.
Continuing north, we set course for Mealt Falls and Kilt Rock, with the intention of getting some stunning aerial footage of the waterfall. We arrived only to find that the wind at the top of the cliff was blowing about 40 miles per hour. Not the conditions that Kev intended to send the drone into over the ocean. We instead had to settle for some stills and videos from the land, another place we will be returning to. A few miles south of Mealt Falls, we'd noticed a few people walking towards a parking lot on the east side of the road. Although we could not see where they were coming from and why, we felt we had to stop and see what the attraction was. We were not disappointed. It was another waterfall, which in spite of all the research we had done before traveling to Scotland, we had not come across. Set in a small valley offering protection from the wind, we were able to get the drone out. We will let the video of Lealt Falls speak for itself.
By the time we jumped back into the car, darkness was beginning to set in, and we still had to make our way back to our hotel in Fort Augustus, about 2.5 hours away. We had just enough time to stop at the car park situated below the Old Man of Store, by now just barely visible above us, and then a quick stop at the small grocery store in Portree for a bottle of wine to take back to the hotel.
Join us next time when we encounter some of the Harry Potter filming locations, including the Glenfinnan Viaduct, Dumbledore's gravesite, the Elephant House Cafe, and the inspiration for the character Voldemort, aka Tom Riddle. See you then!